All right, real quickly, I just wanted to address how to input answers correctly for this number 4 problem on the homework that I got some questions about. And I'm only doing this video, I know this assignment is already technically past due, but I'm doing this video because you probably will encounter formatting like this on other problems in the future. And so I just wanted to address the features in Sapling for how you enter answers in like an equation format, for those of you that were confused. So on this problem, it's going to be these boxes here where they want you to put in an equation, basically an expression for the difference in internal energy. And in terms of these labels that we have up here. And so they want you to put your formatting in exactly like they've given it here. So if there's a delta symbol and an E with a subscript 1, that's how it has to look in your answer. So to get that, when you click on an answer box, this pop-up menu pops up and it has some formatting things down here. And some of you maybe figured out how to do the subscripts. But I know one of the confusing things here was how do you get a delta symbol? Because you do need those deltas. That is going to be under the alphabet tab, and then the letters that it shows you are Greek letters in lowercase. To get the uppercase, you have to click this shift button, and that will then give you the delta. And so if I click on that, notice that now puts a delta symbol in here. Um, Also, if you accidentally click this ABC button, notice that this does change it into the regular alphabet, but I think the default is to keep it in the Greek letters. So, if you're not seeing the delta symbol, if you're seeing this D, try clicking this button and that might switch you to the Greek letters. Okay, so once we have the delta in there, then I want to put my E in here, right? And so then to get the subscript on the E, and to get this E, all I did was type it on my keyboard. I didn't even have to do the italicized thing. It just did it on its own. I literally just typed capital E. But to get the subscript, after you've put the E in place, then you come back over here and you click the subscript button. This button right here shows a box in a subscript position. And so it's going to move the cursor to the subscript mode. This is how you would do a superscript. Just above this, over here is how you would do a fraction, right? Here's how you would do an E expression or a log or a natural log. So anytime it's asking you to give an equation that uses any of these types of formatting, this is how you're going to find these things. So if I click the subscript button, notice how the cursor moved to a lower position. And I only clicked that button once, and now I'm going to go ahead and type my label. And so for this, I'll just type a 1. And now the confusion comes with, well, how do you get out of the subscript mode? And I want to point out here really quickly that if you click the subscript button again, that actually makes a subscript for your subscript, which is not what you want. And you also don't want to leave this in here because it can screw up Sapling recognizing it as the correct answer. So don't leave these sort of blank hanging subscripts in here, or that's a problem. If you accidentally do click this button when you don't mean to and you want to get rid of the subscript, you just hit the backspace button on your keyboard. So if I hit backspace, notice my cursor moves back up now to the previous subscript position that I was in before. So I still haven't gotten out of subscript mode, right? I showed you how to address a common mistake, which is clicking the button a second time to try to exit, and that doesn't work, and how to correct that. But to get out of subscript mode, all you need to do is move the cursor with the arrow buttons on your keyboard. So if I hit the right arrow on my keyboard, notice that my cursor now moved back to a normal position. And in fact, if I now hit the left arrow on the keyboard, that will take me back down into the subscript. So if I wanted to change the label or something, I can use the arrow keys on my keyboard to navigate through the equation. And that's also how you get out of subscripts or get out of superscripts. You just kind of click the arrow until you see the cursor move back to the position you need. However, if for some reason your keyboard doesn't have any arrows on it, if you're on a laptop, sometimes that's the case, these arrows right here will also work. So the arrows on the right-hand side of this pop-up box allow you to move through the equation. And this is also how you can navigate on like a mobile device if you're using a mobile device for your homework or something. So hopefully that explains kind of how you get this formatting. Obviously, for all of these, you had to do sort of a combination of terms. So, if this was a subtraction, I could hit the negative sign on my keyboard to add a subtraction symbol at this point, or I could put a positive sign by using the positive sign on my keyboard. And then you would just repeat the process again to get the next delta E symbol, right? So I would come back to alphabet, I would click delta, I would type my E, capital E, I would go back to basic, click the subscript button, and then I can put in my 2, right? So that is how you would be formatting these problems. So I hope that helps.